Hey guys, it's Epic. I'm here making another video for you, and today we're going to talk about 10 multi-use items that you may want to consider to lighten your backpack load. Okay guys, so number one on my list today is my Shemagh. It's probably the most multi-versatile item that I have on my list today. It can be used as everything from a face mask to a beanie to a sling bag that you can use as a day pack. It can be used as a blanket. It can be used as a pack towel. It can be used as a pot holder. The list goes on and on. I'm not going to go into depth of the uses today, but if you'd like to see a more in-depth video on the uses for the Shemagh, check out this video right here, 5 backpacking items I replaced with just one. So the pro to carrying a Shemagh is that it can replace multiple items in your backpack, making your overall pack weight lighter. But that's also the con to this item, because if you need to do more than one job at once and you only have your Shemagh to do it, you might run into some trouble. In the end, I think it's important to make sure that you understand the logistics of the adventure you're about to go on, make sure that you've checked the weather, you know the terrain, how many days you're going to be out, and what you plan to do to make sure that you always have the items in your pack that you need. Also remember that a Shemagh is made out of cotton, and you have to follow the rules of cotton. Basically, don't use this for any wet jobs in cold weather. Okay guys, so the next item on my list is rubber bands. I always keep a couple of these on my wrist when I'm hiking, whether I'm out for the weekend or I'm out on a through hike. I always find a reason to use them. They can be used for hair ties for people with longer hair. They can be used to bind up your stakes if you lose your stake bag, which I've done before. I also use my rubber bands to put my headlamp up on the ridgeline inside of my hammock. I've even packed out a deli sandwich on the Appalachian Trail wrapped in paper and bound it in my rubber bands to make sure that it didn't open up in my pack. So yeah, rubber bands, great multi-use item. You never know when you're going to need them. Okay guys, next on the list is my rain skirt. The rain skirt is great because in addition to being a rain skirt, you can also use it as a sit pad to keep your butt from getting wet when you sit down on trail. You can also use it as a ground cloth to stow your boots and your backpack underneath your hammock or outside your tent. The pros of this are obviously that you don't have to carry an extra cushion or a butt pad. The downside is it does not actually provide any cushion when you sit on it. So for those who need a little extra cushion, this might not be for you. I would also be careful about using this on highly abrasive surfaces. After time, the rub and wear may wear holes in your rain skirt. Next we have an extra pair of wool socks. Most of us carry an extra pair of dry socks on the trail just in case our socks get wet. But did you know that they can also be used as mittens? I actually discovered this once on the Appalachian Trail when I thought I had misplaced my gloves in the cold weather. I ended up finding those gloves later stuffed between the pack liner and the backpack, but at the time I thought I lost them, I ended up putting my socks on my hands and walking down the trail. I found out that it was easy to use my trekking poles at the same times, and later I actually met people who don't carry gloves on trail. They actually just use their socks to save the weight on gloves. Okay, so the pros to carrying socks and using them as mittens or gloves is that you don't have to carry mittens or gloves. But the downside is I would only use these in cold, dry weather. In cold, wet weather, they would still maintain their insulative properties because they're wool, but since they would be soaked, you wouldn't have a dry pair of socks to put on your feet if you need them. Okay guys, so next is my ultralight toilet trowel. This is the one from Bogler Co. on Etsy. You can also get the Deuce of Spades. It's very similar to this one. If you carry one of these, this can actually be used as a spare stake if you lose one for your shelter. The plus side is that you don't have to carry an extra stake in case you lose one. The downside is if you end up having to dig that midnight cat hole, you're going to have to pull this out of the ground. Okay guys, so let's talk about trekking poles. In addition to aid you in walking down the trail, these can also be used to set up a lot of ultralight tents that depend on these for structure instead of using tent poles. If you're in a hammock, these can also be used on your rainfly to set your rainfly up in porch mode. But another unique use that I've had to use these for is getting water. Sometimes I'll get to the edge of a stream and it's all rocky and too shallow for me to dip my bottle, or I'll get to the edge of a lake and it's all scummy and full of algae, but there's clear water out further. Or sometimes there's flow up on a waterfall that I can't quite reach. So what I'll do is I will take my Be-Free bottle, and this is the Flux bottle that you can buy to go with the Be-Free filters. I don't like the standard bottle because it's not as durable, but if you have any water bag that has a handle on it, you can use the rubber band from your wrist to tie to the end of your trekking pole, take off the filter, put your trekking pole at full extension, and now you can reach that high flow, or you can reach out into that lake or stream toward the middle where it's deeper or less scummy and collect your water. Okay guys, so the next one on my list is bear line. If you're carrying a bear hang kit on trail, you can also use this as a clothesline to dry out your wet gear. You're probably not going to need to do this in a hammock because the ridge line that goes down the middle serves as a clothesline. This is more for people who are in a tent. The plus side is you don't have to carry any extra cordage as a clothesline, or I've actually seen people carrying clotheslines on a trail. The downside is that you will not be able to do this at the same time as you have a bear hang in place. Okay, so next up is duct tape. pretty straightforward. I keep some wrapped around my trekking pole, and in addition to being used to repair multiple broken items on trail, it can also be used for blister protection if you're not carrying leukotape or moleskin. Okay guys, so next we have dental floss. Dental floss can be used not only for keeping your teeth clean in the backcountry, but it can also be used for any sewing repairs that you might need to do in the field. I would, however, recommend making sure that you get flavorless and odorless dental floss. That way you don't attract any critters on trail. Okay guys, next on the list is your smartphone, which is everything from a GPS device, a flashlight, a audiobook and music player. It can be used to take all your pictures and video on trail. And it's great not to carry all those individual items, but just remember that if you drop this on a rock or into a stream, it's done. You don't have any of those things. If you're going to use this as an all-in-one device, I would strongly recommend getting an excellent cell phone case with really good drop protection. That way you don't lose this device on trail. Well guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Drop a comment down below and let me know what some of your multi-use items are on trail. If you like what we do, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you know when we make future content. You can also check us out on Instagram, support us on Patreon, and we just launched our new website. Now get off your butts and go play outside.